Okay, hello and welcome to Phoenix Point Backer Build 2. Let's just actually get the right image on the screen. There we go. So this is Backer Build 2. A couple of things that have been added to Backer Build 2. First of all, we have the Technician class replacing one of the Assaults. It is still Irina Petieva. She was always supposed to be a technician, but we didn't manage to get her in quite in time for the original Backer builds. We also have, making its debut appearance in the Backer build, the Armadillo. The new Jericho APC does require to have at least one of your soldiers in it to be able to use it. On the Fort Freiheit map, you do actually start with the Armadillo near your squad. On all of the procedural maps, it's actually somewhere on the map. It does move around. So, yeah, it's you have to get to it, which is the tricky thing. You can't just use it. You need to get a soldier into it to make it usable. We've also added a couple of new maps, and we've also added daytime and nighttime missions. So we're going to go ahead and play through this build. Now, this only literally finished up today. The team were working very, very hard right up until the last minute to try and deal with any bugs it had. We are aware there are still a few bugs in there. We will probably roll a patch out over the course of the next few weeks to catch any bugs that might be in there. If you are one of the people who have backed or pre-ordered Phoenix Point and get access to the Backer build, then please do read the provided support document, the game guide, before playing, because it will give you some extra information about the stuff that has been added, and then hopefully you won't accidentally report any non-bugs as bugs. But please do report any bugs you might find. You can do that by hitting F12 in the client. So let's go ahead and take a look. One thing you will notice, the UI has changed a little bit. We've tried to make it a little bit more obvious that you can actually swap your weapon by clicking this button down here, and that changes out your available abilities accordingly. We've also redesigned and repositioned where the class icons and your character icon goes down into the bottom corner there. And we've also added these extra little icons to show you where you can find the crates, any that you've spotted, and it will also show you if they are unopened or an opened crate. So let us go ahead and start moving some people forward. So there are a few enemies that we can see. We still haven't implemented the sort of limited field of vision yet. That will come when we start adding in the perception system, which hasn't been done yet, but we will get there. It's one of those things. We are still in pre-alpha, so we're just adding stuff bit by bit as we go. I'm going to start moving forward. Let's move forwards with the assault. Always fairly standard. There is an alien up there on the roof. We can actually... Oh no, that's the guy on the other side. We can probably see him through the window. We've got a fairly terrible chance of hitting him, so I'm not going to bother doing that. That seems like a complete waste. I will pop you onto Overwatch, though, just for safety. So this is the Technician. You'll see the Technician can actually move quite far. In fact, the Technician can move almost to the complete extremes of his range and still fire his weapon. And that's because the Technician uses a PDW. And the PDW is a very agile weapon. He can actually fire it 3 times. Well, 4 times actually if he stays still. It has the same kind of shot requirements as the sniper's pistol. So if he doesn't move, he can fire it 4 times, but he can move very, very far and still fire it. He also has the ability to throw grenades, as does everybody. He starts with a grenade. He doesn't start with a med pack because he has his exosuit, which allows him to heal both himself and allies. He can repair vehicles, and he can also use it to melee attack. He also has a turret that he can deploy. It's not on the hot wheel. It does exist in the inventory. There is the turret right there. There are a few things that are still a little bit buggy. The turret should weigh a little bit more because we've now implemented a weight limit to the inventory. And also, currently, the turret is free to deploy, which is not intended. There should be a deployment cost for the turret. Let's just switch to his PDW and go and move him up. And you've managed to spot yourself another crate. That's fine. We have redesigned the crates slightly as well. They actually look quite a bit better now. So we've got our really slow, bulky heavy. Can't move very far and still use his weapon, but we will move him up. And of course, our trusty sniper, who we're going to try and get a little closer. I don't want to have everybody grouped too close together. I don't want to be grenade fodder. Let's go ahead though and end the turn. So we've got a gunner here. So he does have a grenade launcher. I'm hoping he doesn't decide to use it. He might just use his gun. We've got another gunner with a grenade launcher trying to sneak around behind us. And down there we have what looks like a tank because he's got a grenade launcher. Here comes a brawler. Ah, now you're a bit closer than I was hoping. He has just deployed his shield. Oh wow, we're surrounded already. A lot of these guys have just come totally out of nowhere. I've played this build a few times today, and this is the first time I've been mobbed like this. Okay, so this is potentially problematic. There's a lot of guys here very close by. We really need to deal with them. Let's go ahead and let's use that turret. Now, the turret is automated. We can place it on any of the spaces adjacent to us. I'm going to go and throw it down here. Like I said, at the moment, it doesn't actually cost an action. Now, the turret starts with no action points, but you can't actually manually fire the turret. It does reaction fire, and it will automatically fire at the closest target at the beginning of the player turn. But now that's down, that will hopefully help deal with that guy a little bit. We really need to deal with some of these other guys first. I really don't like how many of them there are around here. Let's start by moving over here, and hopefully we can deal with this guy and get rid of him completely. You don't have a gun. You don't have a gun. We're probably going to take some reaction fire for doing this. Let's go for this manually. Let's go in for the sort of legs and thorax. We don't want to put all of these shots into the carapace. Hopefully this will be a straight up kill. Indeed it was. Like I say, we probably will take some return fire from those gunners over in the distance. Oh no, we actually got away with it. So we've got these two guys here. We need to deal with both of them. Now he does have his shield deployed right in my sniper's face. My sniper doesn't have a lot of cover, but we're going to move over here anyway. And I think it was just because we spotted that alien. Let's see if we can take a shot with the sniper rifle. Can we disable this guy completely? Well, no, we can't. What we could do, we can't kill him. We could probably switch to the pistol, and we might have a potential to get a kill, though we're probably going to do very little damage, even if we get sort of stuck right in and just shoot him in the back. So I think what I'm going to do, just to play this safe, because I don't want to lose anybody this early on, point blank range with the sniper rifle, we're just going to take his pincer arm straight off here. There we go. Off it goes. Now we did take some return fire. He took 1 damage. That was predictable. But it does mean now that he cannot attack us, so we're safe from that guy. We need to deal with this guy as well. So that's a little bit of an issue. Now we do have some grenades. Probably a good time to use one. So can we get a better shot depending on where it lands? If we land it slightly behind him, we'll ignore some more of his armor. Again, we take some return fire, but that's okay. Stop shooting at me. Okay, everybody's still alive. You have both legs disabled. You have 2 bleeds. Now, can we do a lot of... We can take a shot with the assault, actually. You're not our priority right now. I'm a little bit concerned about that guy, but we'll see what we can do. Let's target this one. If we can do just a bit of damage to him, might well be enough. Let's aim for the head. Decent shots. Oh, it was actually our sniper that took that hit. He intercepted that for us. You guys could stop firing at us. That would be great. Now, we could take several shots with our... a little bit skeptical about what to do here. I think I might just go ahead and put you onto Overwatch. It'll probably be wasted, but we will see what happens. We can always restart if it goes horribly wrong. Yeah, unfortunately we just put all of our shots into you. That was the AI being smart. You know, triggered an Overwatch using an enemy that's pretty much useless for anything else. You are just shooting, that's fine. Again, sniper takes another hit. Okay, you've just decided to deploy your shield. I don't suppose he can move very far due to the damage he took. There's the turret gone already, so that was a good good demonstration of the turret. Oh, well, that was some good damage from the PDW, even if the camera did glitch out a little bit. This guy is done for now. He's got 1 health and 1 life remaining. Let's see if we can find another turret. If we're lucky, there'll be one in the chests. That's not a chest, that is, though. Let's go and stand next to that. There is a turret in there. Excellent. Lots more ammo and things now. We've upped the amount of ammo and objects and things that are in crates. So you shouldn't run out so easily. You can see now we've got the icon to tell us that we've emptied that crate, or we've opened that crate at least. While we're in here, let's go ahead and just finish this guy off. So a few little animation glitches there, but nothing too terrible. We'll take a little bit of fire through the window. Didn't take any damage though, so that is fine. So, you're going to bleed out on this turn anyway, and you're going to bleed out on that turn. I think that's all good. So what I'd like to try and do is get the sniper in here, but I tend to use my sniper to drive the Armadillo. I don't know why, but we do need to get rid of that guy. Let's go ahead and see if that's not a possibility. Right, what sort of shot do we have on you? Not a great one. I really don't want to hit the Armadillo here, so I'll just have to take this shot. And I actually hit the Armadillo. The tiniest little area I could have done that, and I hit the Armadillo. Typical. Right, let's start moving up with people. We'll run forwards with the assault. Everybody else is pretty much done for now, so I don't think there's too much to worry about. And let's run up with the heavy. We could probably do something with you. I don't think we really need to. Yeah, that's fine. Let's just end that turn. That guy bleeds out. The other guy should bleed out shortly as well. Right, you're moving forwards. You're firing at my sniper. Return fire through the window from the technician. Now then, what are you going to do? You've got a grenade launcher. I don't like grenade launchers. You're doing nothing. Okay, let's start by selecting our technician. I'm going to switch over to his repair ability, or his heal ability. I will need to move the sniper 1 tile closer for this to work. And let's just go and move the technician right next to him. And we're going to heal and get our sniper nice and healed up. Now then, can we get our sniper into the back of the Armadillo? No, not on this turn. He's just slightly too far away now. If I hadn't have moved, we'd be fine. But I am going to take that shot again and see if we can't get rid of this guy. Okay, his torso's disabled. He's going to return fire, but he's got a bleed on him, so he is essentially out of this. Yeah, I can post the PDF in Discord. That's not a problem. There isn't a huge amount that's changed since the previous version. It's really just an amendment, but yeah, I can certainly do that. I will do that after the stream. Let's start moving forwards with our assault here. I would like to get rid of this guy, but I'm out of grenades at the moment. We'll go on to Overwatch in case he comes around. Can't do anything else with the technician right now. The heavy we could do something with, but I don't think it's really worthwhile. So let's just end the turn and see how things turn out for us. We're not shooting at anybody, so we didn't have to worry about return fire from him. Now you are moving closer, and you're firing your grenade at my technician and my sniper. I do not appreciate that. Now I actually took a shot there at the guy on the roof. You are using your gun. Why does everybody shoot at the sniper? My sniper's starting to feel a bit unloved and underappreciated at the moment. Okay, let's go over here and heal the sniper up again. So at the moment, the technician currently has unlimited heals, unlimited repairs. This is something that we probably will look to change later on. But not right now. Let's go and run to the back. And we've seen another crate, that's fine. And now we can enter the Armadillo. Excellent. We have our first vehicle. This thing makes much like work of aliens. Let's go ahead and start by taking a shot at this guy. Just have a fairly big spread because it is a machine gun after all. But this should be enough for us to do some pretty serious damage. There we go. He is down. And we didn't destroy the crate. We will take some reaction fire, but that is fine. Excellent. Excellent. Just what we wanted. Let's get you over there and have a look. What have we got in the chest? We have assault rifle ammo. We'll take that. No grenade, unfortunately. We can go and run over to that one. Now, you can see an alien, which is the guy on the roof. We've got a fairly terrible chance of that actually hitting. So I'm just going to go and move you back into cover. That's fine. Technician's sort of exposed there. Let's move you back into cover for now. Now, I'm not too sure which direction the Queen is going to come from on this map, so I do need to be fairly careful. Let's go ahead and use our jet jump ability on the heavy. And we'll go and try and set up on a relatively high vantage point. Let's go and get up over here. Excellent. You can stay there. I could reload, but I don't think I'm going to. I think I'll just save that for now. Okay, down he comes. Keep your grenades to yourself. Now, one thing that we have done is we have given the enemies the ability to attack the Armadillo even if it's empty. And the reason we've done that is we didn't want people using it as a bit of rolling cover where you could basically park it, abandon it, but use it to try and block areas, block the Queen in or something like that. So if you do try and use it to block the enemies, particularly the Queen, it will get attacked. And it might have a lot of armor and a lot of health, but it will go down. Okay, let's start off by using this thing. We might as well. Who can we see? We can see you. You are right in that corner there. There's you also. I'm not sure if I could get a ram going from that distance. Let's go ahead and move forwards. Now, it will path around obstacles. So it will take cover down, but it'll path around, like, you know, gaps in the map and things like that. Let's go ahead and take a shot. I'd actually prefer to shoot at this guy. He is behind some cover. But he's a closer target, and he's definitely more likely to be hit than that one that's further away. Excellent. Just what we wanted to happen. It doesn't always work out like that. Now, I would also like to go and get to that crate there, but you're worrying me slightly. He does have a grenade launcher, which is problematic. Let's start moving you forward a bit at a time. Your health is decent. And then we've got our technician somewhere. I do want to run the technician up because I would like to use the turret. At least once in this mission. I'm going to go and just drop it here. We might get to shoot something with it. Is this still coming to the Xbox Preview Program? We've never announced it coming to the Xbox Preview Program. The only information that we have is that it will be released on Xbox on the same day as the PC Mac version. But we've got no plans for it to be on the Preview Program at all. That's not to say it won't happen, but there's just no plans for it right now. It's not something that we have any details for. Heavy, what can you see? Somebody very, very far away, so let's not do anything with you. Actually, you've lost a fair bit of willpower, so let's just recover. And you can do nothing for now. Now, there is one slight little bug. It might have been fixed, actually. Yeah, so this is a little bug that happens. Is if you've got somebody in the vehicle, the game will switch to the person in the vehicle, and you can't end their turn because they're not technically on the game field. You have to just end turn manually. You can fit all 4 soldiers in the Armadillo, but bear in mind if the Armadillo gets destroyed, anyone inside it is killed and lost. Well, let's go ahead and end the turn here. You're moving closer to us. Hopefully you're not going to be too harsh towards my assault who's down there. Now, I like where you are. That might be a good opportunity for me to use the ram ability. The ram ability is fun. How much does that cost us? 100% of our actions, but we can do it. So we're going to ram. Now, when I select ram, you'll see I have this little arrow. This arrow is where I'm basically going to, the direction I'm going to move in. Release date's going to be June 2019. So we're going to ram in this direction. And there we go. Sort of like straight through half of the map, but that thing is instantly dead. Completely gone. Do I want to try and take this thing out first before grabbing that crate? I think I do. So let's move over there. Somehow I've managed to move just too far. Obviously I wasn't watching what I was doing there, was I? Oh, I can exert there. That's fine. Let's go ahead. Use exertion. And we can go and take the shot. We need to manually aim it. Now, getting a kill here is probably unlikely. I'd love to take... Well, his grenade arm worries me more than anything else. Let's try and take that grenade arm off if we can. We've managed to disable his leg, but that's not what I really wanted to do. Let's move a little bit. There's always a chance for a PS4 port, but we've got nothing to announce on the PS4 side of things at the moment. It's just PC, Mac, and Xbox as of now. Now, unfortunately, my technician doesn't have a very good line to hit from anywhere. I'm going to run a bit closer with the technician. Maybe I can show you guys the melee attack if I can get close enough. That's a good one to demonstrate. Let's just put the heavy on Overwatch. We might end up with a random kill on something. And, of course, we can't do anything with Stoller. We could get him to exit the vehicle, of course. We can always get him to get out of the Armadillo. Right, you've decided not to do anything. That is fantastic. Can we get close enough to melee attack you? I'm honestly not sure if diagonals work. I've never tried this. It looks like it might, so we'll do our electrical strike. There we go. Now, even if that doesn't kill them, it will stun them for a turn, so it is quite useful. Now, you're out of ammo. You can run over here and open this box. Greetings, Germany. Will you be showing off the geoscape and base building in this video? No, I won't, because we haven't implemented any of that stuff yet. It's been put together, it's been designed, but it's just not ready to show yet. So it's probably going to be another build or two before we actually get around to showing that. There's a lot of stuff in this chest. We've got some grenades. We definitely want to take some more of those. Sniper ammo, pistol ammo, PDW ammo. We've also recolored certain things to make them easier to see, so you've got this green outline now on weaponry, so that should make that a little bit more obvious what's well, on ammo, so it should make it a little bit more obvious what's ammo and what's a weapon. You're completely out of movement, which is unfortunate. How much damage does the RAM do? That's actually a very good question, and not one that I immediately have the answer to, I'll be quite honest with you. A lot. It will kill a crabman at full health. Don't think it works on the queen. I haven't tried it. If the queen turns up, which I'm sure she will, we'll give it a go and see what happens. Let's find out together. You can't do anything. You can... I'm not even sure which direction the queen's going to spawn from, so I am going to move all the way down here. We'll just literally wreck half of the map as we go. That's fine. Just destroy everything. And I think we're actually good until... There she is. I knew she was about to turn up. So which side has she appeared from? She's appeared from this side. Excellent. I'm always never too sure how much damage the... or how much distance the RAM has. Let's make sure we've got the... thing selected. Yeah, that might be too far. That might be out of range, and she's right on the edge of the map as well. So I'd prefer to leave that for now, and maybe try that on the next one, on the next turn. What we do need to try and do is get a rocket over there. Unfortunately, our heavy is miles away. Let's get our heavy as close as we can. We'll see if we can do all of our damage on the next turn. I'd love to get up there, actually. that would be a great spot. So assuming she doesn't just stomp straight over here and take the building down. Let's go ahead and get our technician to heal himself. So he's quite powerful at the moment, the technician. He will be one of the more expensive classes, though, in the finished game, so you will have to use him sparingly. Let's go ahead and just switch him back to his PDW. You have a grenade also, but again, you're a little bit too far away from the Queen to make it count. So let's put you there, and let's just end the turn and let her come to us a little bit. She will have some friends with her. Now, this Queen is more heavily armoured than the Queen in the previous demo. There's the turret with its return fire. There's another one of the Queen's friends coming in. Well, that was unfortunate. We do get some return fire, though. That PDW is actually quite accurate, considering that it's a close-range weapon. There we go. The game looks amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. Playing on the PS4 only, I can at least watch Let's Plays videos, even if it won't come out for us. Like I said, we would like to make a PS4 version. We've always said we'd like to do consoles, but the only issue we had was having the funding and the resources to do it. Because we entered into an agreement with Microsoft to be on the Xbox Pass, or the Game Pass, that gave us some additional resources to be able to make the Xbox version. But of course, you know, we would like to do a PlayStation version. Maybe Sony will be willing to help us out with that. Right, the Queen didn't actually move towards us, surprisingly. Let's go ahead and start off with our heavy and the missile. And I'm going to aim it slightly over that way because I'd like to try and hit the other guy as well. There we go. We certainly... You've taken a reaction shot, but you had no chance there. You took a reaction shot as well, but it just pinged off our armour. That's good. Didn't do as much damage to you as I was hoping. You were caught in the blast, but it just didn't quite get you. I'm still going to hope that they come to us, really. Everything seems to have zoomed out. Right, technician, do we want to repair the Armadillo up before we attempt this? Maybe. Do we have the actions to do that? We do not. Why don't we? 75% now, we're just slightly out of actions. That's fine. We'll just stay here behind it. Let them come towards us. Now, because this is only the sort of pre-alpha build, we don't have an awful lot of different performance and graphical settings. So at the moment, we've just got like Fantastic, which everything turned on, and we've also got Potato, which is designed for really low-end systems. But we intend to try and make the game support as many different configurations as possible when it comes out. So our assault just took quite a bruising there. Here comes Queenie, just as we hoped. There's our free shot from the turret, which automatically aims at the closest target. So, our assault's definitely in worse shape than the Armadillo. Let's go ahead and heal you up. Just be careful to actually click on the target you want to heal, and don't just click heal, because you'll just end up healing yourself. I've made that mistake before. We switch to grenade. Let's try and do some damage here. Now, you're not quite close enough. Let's get you a little bit closer. Yep, that should be enough to do some damage. Did take some more return fire there. That guy really doesn't like me. Loves his return fire. Let's go to our heavy. Where is our heavy? There you are. You have another rocket in store for the Queen. And the missile. Difficult to actually get that to hit where I want, but we will try. Another 3 damage and -1 armor. It is. I mean, it's a good thing that it's on the Game Pass, but it is worth noting that games that are on Game Pass aren't always on Game Pass. So, you know, eventually it might disappear off there. Usually only for a limited time. Can we repair you up again? Not immediately. Okay, let's move you out of the way. You are bleeding. We do need to try and fix that. We move you out of the way. Put the technician into cover. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's try and use the ram ability. Let's head towards the Queen. Let's see what damage we can do, if any. I've never tried this before. Oh, well, we definitely did some damage there. 17 damage, and we disabled her left pincer. Unfortunately, we're now right next to the Queen, which is a really bad place to be. So we need to be careful there. We can't shoot or do anything else. Let's just end the turn. Now you're shooting at my assault. What has my assault ever done to you? This poor guy. His torso is disabled. He's covered in blood. He's got, like, no health going on. Now, what is the Queen going to do here? Oh dear. Well, the technician's not fixing that one. Free shot from our turret, although it didn't really count for much. I have actually had, on one of my previous attempts, the Queen finished by the turret. Front right wheel disabled and 12 damage. See, I can do a lot of damage to the Queen. She can do a lot of damage to me as well. Okay, we did 3 damage to something there with the with that. So, can we actually move you? Yes, we can. Let's move you back as far as we can, because you've taken a lot more damage there than I'd have liked. Let's go and move over here with the technician. Why are you telling me I don't have enough action points? Because it's telling me for healing, that's why. Okay, there's a UI bug that we need to get fixed. Okay, so let's switch to our heavy machine gun. We should be able to do some damage to her. She does have a lot more armor now. That is a weird angle. There we go. Not too sure what was going on there. Let's aim for... Well, if we take out the pincer... Pincer's got a lot of armor, though. Let's kind of aim here, because we're likely to hit the head or the pincer. And we actually did no damage, but we did take some armor off. That was really bad. That could have gone a lot better for us. But we can still shoot. No, we can't still shoot, because we don't have enough action points. I've made a mess of this. I think we're going to be fine, though. What about soldiers? Are they actual characters with little stories? They're going to be a kind of a hybrid between the two. So the two writers for Phoenix Point, Alan Stroud and Jonas Karatzis, they are writing essentially little biographies for the different soldiers, and they will be procedurally generated. So every soldier will have their own little biography, and you know, it'll say things about who they are and where they came from and what they're doing as part of the war. So they will have some personality. Yeah, I mean, obviously, Phoenix Point is made by the creator of the original XCOM, so it does try to be mechanically closer to the original XCOM than the new ones, even though it does look quite a lot like the new ones in terms of the user interface and the way things are done. Hopefully, I'm not going to make a complete mess of this mission. My heavy is surviving, but it all depends on what the Queen decides she's going to do on this turn. No, it looks like she's going for the Armadillo again. Free shot from the turret, it does nothing. All these little guys are quite annoying, but I think he actually just hit the Queen there. He did, but he just hit armor. Right, first things first. Let's repair with the technician. Let's get the Armadillo healed up. We're just going to hide behind the Armadillo here. There's 10 health back. I mean, I guess technically we could just ram again. Ramming would probably do more damage here. Although, if we could hit somewhere with low armor, like the head, we could potentially do an awful lot. Let's just go ahead and just put the machine gun right in her face. 15 damage. We are taking some return fire from these guys at the back, but I'm not bothered about that. Will the maps be procedurally generated? Yes, they will. Some maps won't. There will certainly be some maps that are... There'll be some maps that are custom created. There will be some story-based missions in the game, so they will have custom created maps, or at least some of them will. And if you, for instance, have a an attack on your base, the map that you play on will be a representation of the base that you built. So just like in the original XCOM, if you put the rooms in a certain configuration, that's the configuration the map will be in when you play on it. Also, if you visit an area like a haven, and that map is procedurally generated, if you return to that haven later in the campaign, it'll be identical to the first time that you visited, unless of course they've added extra buildings and things like that. But you won't visit a haven and then visit it a second time and it'll be completely different. It will use the same map. In this current demo, in the backer build, there's one scenario map, Fort Freiheit, which is custom created, but the other 5 maps are all procedural. So they use the plots and parcels system, which is quite similar to the way that the new XCOM games do it, where you have a basic map layout and then all of the buildings, all of the cover, all of the items and objects on the map are all procedurally placed. So what can we do now? We've still got our heavy up here on the roof. Do we take a shot at the Queen with her massively armoured butt, where we're not going to do anything there? I don't have a very good shot on the Queen. I don't have a very good shot on anybody. It would be nicer if we could get a little bit of a better shot, but where we are now, we're just a little bit too limited. So I might as well take a shot at the Queen somewhere. Going for the carapace is just completely pointless. I mean, we could go for the head. I mean, there is a potential of doing some damage here, but there's also a potential that a lot's going to miss. Let's just take the shot anyway. Let's see if luck's on our side. We did 4 damage. I'll take 4 damage. Okay, now there's not an awful lot we could do here. We could get our sniper out of the back and take a shot, but then we won't be able to use the Armadillo. I don't think she's going to be able to do too much damage to the Armadillo, so we will leave it. She's attacking the Armadillo again. Really wish she wouldn't. Return fire from the turret, but again, it's just not going to get through her armor. It's just not happening. You're very annoying, but that's fine. We don't have any merchandise for sale at the moment. There are a few bits and pieces that we will have as part of the collector's editions, like the art books and t-shirts and key rings and stuff like that. But at the moment, we don't have any particular plans to sell them separately. That might be something that changes in the future, but at the moment, we don't have any merch. Right, we'll give that another 10 health back. Well, it was certainly effective the last time we just fired in the Queen's face, so I guess we're probably going to do the same thing again. Okay, yeah, let's just go for the head. Camera angle was a bit crappy there, but another 18 damage. We do have the advantage on this mission of actually having a unit that can heal and repair, which is something that the Queen currently does not. You need to reload. But that does still leave you with enough to fire. I mean, there is a chance that we could shred armor if we attack a abdomen, so let's go for it. Yeah, we did take 2 ammo off, so that's fine. These guys are chipping away at my armor as well, but I'm alright with that. Let's get the Queen down first. This guy's got a grenade, but I'm having to constantly repair the Armadillo, so I'm not really getting a chance to use that grenade. This would be a lot easier if I'd managed to keep my assault alive, but I think he was just a bit unlucky. Yep, there we go. There's another attack. Obviously, there are these issues with the camera angles, and they are things that we will sort out for the finished game, but again, it's pre-alpha, so these things are likely to be a little bit buggy. Can the Armadillo fire 2 times in a turn? That is a very good point, actually. Yes, it can, and I completely forgot that if you don't move, you have enough action points to fire twice in a turn. If I'd have actually done that, then we'd have probably had her dead already. But yes, it only takes 50% of my action points. She's down now anyway. It only takes 50% of my action points to fire with the Armadillo. I should have just fired twice. As the camera nicely clips inside of the Armadillo model. So yeah, what I should be able to do now is fire again. Let's go ahead and take that guy out because he's been super annoying. There we go, he's finally down. In the game, you have to buy ammo, weapons and vehicles like you had in the original XCOM. You won't necessarily have to buy them. There will be manufacturing, like in the original XCOM, and you will also have scavenging missions where you can basically go and scavenge for resources. You'll also be able to steal resources, you can loot them off bodies, you can pick them up from these crates that will be on the map. So a lot of people who have been playing the backer build don't particularly like the crates because they don't like that you have limited ammo to start with and you have to find it on the map. These are only a temporary solution because we don't have the strategic element of the game built in yet, so there's no way to equip the squad before the mission. When the game's actually finished, you'll be able to take more stuff along with you. We have spoken internally at length about multiplayer. It is something that we'd like to consider in the future, but it's not what our main focus is going to be for this particular game, or at least not Phoenix Point as it stands at the moment. We want to concentrate on making a really solid single-player experience. We'll certainly consider what possibilities and options there are for multiplayer later on, but right now it literally is just a single-player experience. Now, I did get you to repair. Let's end the turn. I think we've only got that one enemy left. What is my role in developing the game? I'm the community manager, so my role in the development is very little, although I do sit in with the design team and I sort of pitch ideas from my own experiences, because I've been playing games like this for over 20 years now. A big fan of the original XCOM games as well as the new ones, and not only do I sort of pitch my own ideas, because Snapshot Games actually has a very unique model where everyone in the company, whether they're programmers, whether they're artists, whether they're sound designers, everyone is allowed to have a voice. Everyone is allowed to put their ideas forward for consideration. And not only do I put my own ideas forward, but I also put forward feedback and ideas from the community. So when a member of the community says, hey, wouldn't it be cool to have this, obviously there has to be a little bit of a limit, because we do get a lot of people who, you know, everybody's got an idea about how they'd like the game to be, but I generally take really good ideas through to the design team, and you know, sometimes they make it into the game. One example is obviously, much like the original XCOM here, the camera rotates in 90-degree turns, and a lot of people said, well, wouldn't it be great if the camera could, you know, rotate freely? So I went and fed that back to the design team, and now we have a little button that you can tick for free camera, and you can now freely rotate the camera without it being locked to 90 degrees. Is there a possibility of expansions making a Phoenix Point universe? Definitely. Our writers have done a fantastic job in building an entire universe around this game. There's lots of literature for it. They've written some short stories. They're not essential reading, but I'd recommend them. They are really, really good. I was reading them before I even worked for Snapshot, when I was just a backer for this game. And like I said, they're not essential reading. If you play this game and you never read any of the lore, any of the short stories, it's not going to dampen your experience, but it certainly gives you a lot of build-up to the game. It kind of explains where the Pandora virus comes from. It explains who the Phoenix Project are. It goes into more details about the factions and how they got started. But you can find all of that on phoenixpoint.info if you look under the stories section. And if you sign up to our newsletter, we actually send out an ebook every month or so, or every couple of months, and that ebook has a collection of the stories in as well. The Rocketjump is actually cool. The only downside for the Rocketjump at the moment is that it uses your entire action, so you can't do anything once you Rocketjump. However, when it gets implemented, we will be adding in a Rocketjump based attack where you can basically sort of slam down onto an enemy as you land and do damage. Let's see if we can't finish this guy and deal with this mission. Well, that was less damage than I'd hoped. So what's that? It would be cool, for example, to go on a mission with New Jericho where I have to take out a specific target and another player in his own campaign has to protect the target. Yeah, I mean, these are all ideas that we've thought about for multiplayer. There's a certain there are lots of complications. First of all, making a game that is single player is a lot easier than making a game where you have to worry about clients talking to each other and sharing data, particularly if that affects the single player campaign in some way, because you wouldn't necessarily want people being able to sort of cheat the experience. So, you know, we'd have to build it with that in mind. And also there's a lot more overhead because you have to have servers, or do you have people's computers talking to each other via peer-to-peer. But yeah, they are certainly all things we consider, and it might be a plan for the future, but just, you know, at the moment we've got lots of ideas, but we're concentrating on the single player. Will corpses have collision and block bullets and drop on top of the entities and do damage? To a certain degree, yes. That is the way that it's supposed to work, particularly the shields for the crabmen. Again, not all of it has been implemented yet, but well, you can't move on this turn. Let me just end the turn and we might be able to demonstrate that a little better. Oh, there is another enemy here. But yeah, what we certainly want to do with Phoenix Point is... Oh, you've destroyed my missile launcher. Well, I didn't have any missiles anyway. What we certainly want to do for Phoenix Point is support it long into the future. So we'd love to bring DLC and expansion to the game once it's finished. We've already got plans for the underwater DLC, which is something that we wanted to do in our Kickstarter campaign. Unfortunately, we didn't reach that stretch goal, but we are very much wanting to do that as a post-launch DLC. So you can see there are some tiles here that are blocked that my technician can't make it onto because the queen's in the way. It's very rudimentarily implemented at the moment, but yeah, the bodies will have collision detection. Do you know what? Let's go out in style here. Let's just go and ram this guy. There he goes. It's as far as we could go because it's the edge of the map boundary, but... and I think there's still that one guy left. I can't even... Oh, somebody can see him. Where are you? You're all the way over there hiding in the corner. Fine. Let's switch to the PDW. Let's let him come to us. And well, at the moment, the music we're currently using in the game is only temporary music. It's actually been composed by our sound designer, Simeon Dotkov. And in the final game, the music is actually going to be composed by John Broomhall, who was the composer of the original XCOM. So he did all the music for XCOM UFO, Terraform the Deep, Apocalypse. And he's doing the music for us for Phoenix Point. And Simeon's stuff will, unfortunately... no longer be in the game. We're very much hoping we can do something with it and find a way to deliver it to you guys for your enjoyment, but that it will not be in the final game. So we don't know whether or not John's music is going to work the same way as Simeon's, where we have sort of dynamic battle music. I've just noticed that the Armadillo has got stuck here, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we may have a slight problem. I wonder if I can just ram in another direction, if that'll work. Let's not ram into the technician. So yeah, we rammed in, kind of got stuck, but we can... No. I might have broke... No, we're out. Good. We got out. I thought we were going to be stuck there. That's fine. That is okay. Right. What can we do with you? Can I actually see that guy? Yes, I can. Can we go and do any damage to you? I've still got a grenade, actually. I've ran too far to use it. We can take a shot with the PDW. You're too far away. How come I can't overwatch? Oh, because you've got no willpower left. What happened to your willpower, Petieva? Okay, that's fine. So now we are kind of stuck with the heavy... You're a million miles away. Every chance we could hit Petieva with this. 0 damage. Oh, we've took some of his cover out. It'll force him to move. Right. You have to move forward a bit. You'll fight. Ow! Okay, we did some damage there. I hate it when developers add multiplayer, taking a lot of their time. This is exactly the thing. There are so many games these days where they either have they have a solid multiplayer and the single player is just tacked on, or they have a solid single player and the multiplayer is tacked on. As much as I like the Firaxis XCOM games, their multiplayer is very much a sort of a we stuck this on at the last minute kind of affair, and we don't want to do that. If we do add a multiplayer mode to Phoenix Point, we want it to be something worthwhile. We want it to be something people actually enjoy and get invested in. We don't want it to just be some random skirmish mode that people play once and then get bored of it, because that becomes a waste of development time. Right, we are going to go over here. And we are going to zap this guy right in the face. There we go, 7 damage and his carapace is disabled. We should find now that he can't actually attack us. He should be stunned. Let's go ahead and just end this turn. Takes 1 damage. There we go, he couldn't actually do anything. And as we're right next to him, let's just zap him again. Go out with a zap. Can't go out with a bang, we'll go out with a zap.
You did it. I'm proud of you. For remaining loyal to the principles of New Jericho
very
and helping
loud.
us secure Project Hecate.
So will multiplayer be done after the game is done? That's not what we are saying, or it's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying at the moment we're certainly not looking into multiplayer. The game is going to come out and it's going to be a single player game. If we did add a multiplayer, it would certainly be after launch. It wouldn't be the game is not going to come out with any sort of multiplayer support on launch day. There is melee combat. You've already just seen the melee there from the technician. There's also going to be another class, that the infiltrator, that specialises in melee combat. They will also specialise in stealth as well, and there'll be other melee weapons in the game. So yeah, there's definitely going to be a good variety of different weapon types, and definitely melee. Will melee hits always hit, or will that change? Melee hits generally always hit. Can you target particular body parts? This is something that we've been toying with, because we did try using the free aim system for melee, and it could be a little bit confusing, because you could actually free aim with melee when you weren't adjacent to a target and you'd be out of range. So using free aim allows you to take a shot or attempt to hit even when you've got no chance of hitting. So at the moment we're just using lock-on with the melee, which seems to work better, because you're never in a situation where you waste an action on trying to hit something you're physically too far away from. There will be squad customization. Obviously there's a class system, but the classes are a little bit more versatile than they are in the Firaxis XCOMs, so you'll be able to multi-class to a certain degree and choose various combinations of different specializations to skills. A lot of the skills and abilities you can use in the mission are actually based on the equipment you carry and your weaponry, rather than skills that are just innate to each class. Also, weapons aren't class restricted, so a sniper can pick up the heavy machine gun and fire it, the heavy can pick up the sniper rifle and fire it. There will be restrictions, as in proficiency. So for example, a heavy can use the sniper rifle, but he may not be as accurate as a sniper is. A sniper can pick up the heavy machine gun, but he may not be able to move if he's carrying it, because it might be too heavy for him. But they certainly be able to use other people's weapons. Right, let's go and do, I think, one more game here. So that's a good question. Will there be other hostile or friendly human factions? Well, the faction that we are currently playing as here is New Jericho. New Jericho are actually one of the non-player character factions. So in Phoenix Point, you will actually be playing as the Phoenix Project. And there are 3 factions. There's New Jericho, which is the faction in this demo. New Jericho are the sort of militaristic faction. They are, or they used to be, a sort of a private army, like a sort of a a very well-funded government-type private army. Then there will be Synedrian, who are a very sort of science-focused faction. And then there's the Disciples of Anu, who are like this... They're almost like a bit of a weird Cthulhu worshipping cult. And throughout the game, these three factions, they all have the same agenda. They all want to sort of save Earth from the alien threat, from the Pandora virus, but they've all got slightly different ethics, slightly different ideologies. They don't get along well with each other, and between the three of those factions, they pretty much control most of the safe havens on the planet, and they will actually fight amongst each other. And as the player, you will be able to side with one or maybe more of those factions. You won't be able to maintain an alliance with all three of them because they hate each other. And you might find, for example, if you ally with New Jericho might ask you to go on a mission and fight against the Disciples of Anu. And of course, if you do that, then you're not going to be able to maintain relations with Anu. And the advantage to siding or allying with a particular faction is you will have access to their havens for sort of resupplying, so that you can travel further in your transports and cover more of the globe. You will have access to their technology. They will have unique classes that you'll be able to get access to, like for example the Heavy here. The Heavy is a New Jericho unique class. So you need to sort of be friendly with New Jericho in order to get access to that. And the way that we're actually doing this with factions and missions is that missions won't always have a set outcome. So, for example, you might have a mission where you are friends with... You're friends with New Jericho, and New Jericho say, we're under attack by Disciples of Anu, come and help us. So you go to New Jericho's haven, and you start defending them against the Disciples of Anu, and all of a sudden you see that there's some tech that's been left unattended, and you could steal that tech. You could just take it and leave them. Or you could turn around if you wanted to, and actually just go and kill all of the New Jericho soldiers and help the Disciples of Anu to capture that haven. So... missions aren't necessarily going to be a straight up win or lose. There'll be several different outcomes to a mission. The game's also going to have multiple different endings depending on whether you are allied with one of the factions or whether you go through the game independent. There will also be an ending where you essentially lose, where the aliens win. So the idea of this is the game will be different each time you play it. And one of the things that is on the Geoscape that we've shown a prototype of it a while ago. But when you start a new game, there are a number of havens that populate the Earth, and each of those havens will be assigned to either one of the three major factions or an independent haven. And the game actually simulates several years of war and combat between those havens, and they will change location, they will change hands, they will gain and lose territory. So every time you start a new game, the locations of the factions and which havens they own is always going to be different. Are there independent? Yeah, so yeah, there are independent havens. Some of them will do things that matter. Some of them will be fairly insignificant. A lot of the independent havens will eventually get gobbled up by the three big factions. Some of our independent havens will actually be backers from our FIG campaign, that as part of their reward were able to create their own haven leader in conjunction with our writers, and they may have something unique to offer in terms of story or maybe tech and things like that. You do have your own base, so you actually start with Phoenix Point. That's the name of the base that you start with, which is, you know, an old Phoenix Project base that you managed to reactivate. That's your base of operations, and you will, through the story, be able to go and uncover more bases, old bases that are no longer active, no longer functional, and you will be able to reactivate them and rebuild them. And you know, put your own sort of buildings and utilities and things in there. You will also be able to capture bases from, you know, capture enemy havens as well. You will be able to keep vehicles that you manage to get, but they're going to be relatively rare, so don't expect to be finding a vehicle on every single mission. Factions will attack your base if you upset them enough. They will retaliate for you. are going to have one-man spy missions of opposing havens to find their secrets and steal technology. Can't reveal too many details on the exact way that's going to work, but yes, there will be espionage. You will be able to steal tech from other factions. You will be able to do things on the geoscape and on the strategic map to find out what's going on with the other factions. So all of that is planned. Right, where is our... Oh, it's all the way over there again. That is a long way away. I'm just going to put this back onto the 90-degree cameras just because I prefer it that way. I'm old school. That's just the way it is. Okay, probably haven't quite got time to do another full match, but let's just go and just run in anyway. YOLO. There is stealth. I don't have all the details on how it's going to work. But the idea behind it is it won't be like the Firaxis XCOM where you're basically stealthed until somebody shoots and then you're uncovered. Because we are going to have a class that specialises in stealth, and they will be able to pretty much complete a mission while stealthed. But I don't have all the specific details on that yet. That is something that will come later. But yeah, stealth is definitely something that is planned for this. Let's go ahead and just sort of run in slightly. Are all scenarios where you lose versus wins, or can the factions win despite of you? All scenarios. If you mean... well, essentially the way the game works is either the player wins or the aliens win. But as a player, you can win either on your own independently, or you can win while being... sort of allied with one of the factions, and depending on your relations with those factions, which ones you're allied with will determine the outcome of the game. Because like I said, all of the factions want to do the same thing. They want to be able to, you know, drive the enemy away, but they've all got slightly different ways that they want to do it. Now you go away with your grenade launcher there. Okay, well there's the technician taking a shot already. We did return fire, but he's miles away. Oh, that was lucky. She did some damage to the head and torso there. Right, let's start by opening up this crate, because there might be something useful in it. Well, we've got a spare grenade. I suppose that's better than nothing. Not really liking where you're positioned. Right, let's see if we can take a shot with the sniper. Can we get anybody? No, you're glitching out for some reason, aren't you? There we go. You are a mile away, but we might get lucky. We did. Machine gun destroyed, gun arm disabled. That's what we like to see. Now then, if we move over here, we should have a line of sight on some other stuff. You're not my priority at the moment. You're a bit of an issue, but again, you're a long way away. And I'm not confident I can hit you, so I think we'll just stay there and wait for you to come to us. Now then, where's the Armadillo? It's all the way up here, isn't it? That is so far away. Nothing stops us, of course, grabbing it with somebody who's really mobile, like the technician. So we could run over with the technician, grab it, drive it back, and then put our sniper or somebody else in. Can Pandorians infiltrate the factions and turn them into aliens? The virus can actually affect troops and turn them into mutants. Yes, it can happen. In fact, the disciples of Anu actually embrace the mutations, and they have the ability to use mutated body parts as part of their method of upgrading soldiers. So, you know, you will be able to actually have biological mutated weapons thanks to Disciples of Anu technology, whereas New Jericho prefers cybernetics. So if your arm gets infected, they'll just chop it off and give you a nice robotic arm. If you're a Disciple of Anu and your arm gets infected, there's a much higher chance that they'll just stop the infection spreading to the entire body, but you'll have a nice mutated cool arm that you can do something with. How many different classes are there in the final game? I should know the answer to this one, but it's changed a few times. I think at the moment the number of classes is 7 or 8 altogether, and I can't remember what they all are. But there's the Assault, the Heavy, the Technician, the Sniper, the Infiltrator, the Mutog Handler, which is basically a sort of a Beastmaster class that is unique to the Disciples of Anu. And I think there is 1 or 2 more. I think the Disciples of Anu also have a Priest, and there's 1 more that I'm missing as well. Can friendly factions betray you or ditch you in a battle, for example? It is possible, but you'd probably have to do something to make them want to do that. A friendly faction is unlikely to just turn around and betray you arbitrarily. You have to give them a really good reason. Oh, spare turret. PDW ammo. Very nice. Let's leave the rest of that. Let's start getting you a bit closer to that Armadillo. And what I am going to do is move my Heavy over here, because you are going to grab that extra missile. And you don't really need any of that other stuff, but the extra missile is really useful. You are a pain. I really don't like you being there. So let's go ahead and switch our Assault over to his grenade. Let's get within grenade range. This guy's actually glitched inside the vehicle here. See, now that's caused an issue again. That should have left me with enough action points to throw the grenade. So yeah, there are still a few glitches in this build. Hopefully those are all things that will get sorted out. Can we do anything with the Sniper? The Sniper's actually taken a hit or 2 already. I don't like that. See, the problem I've got at the moment is I can't actually hit this guy because he's inside a vehicle. Although I might be able to snipe the bit of him that's sticking out. Oh dear, well my Sniper's looking in a bad way now. Well, you know, he's looking slightly worse now, but there we go. Our fly is a thing. It's a little bit difficult to try and do flying creatures. It is something that we've considered, but it's difficult to do them well, especially in a game like this. How do you make something float or fly that basically sits on a tile? But it might be a thing. Flyers might be a thing. There are also going to be aliens that swarm. So you will find that there are things that they might occupy one tile, they might occupy multiple tiles, but it will be a swarm of enemies rather than one big enemy. And firing at them with a pistol or a sniper rifle isn't really going to do anything to them. That's the sort of time when you need things like a flamethrower. And there will be flamethrowers, there's going to be a crossbow, there's going to be shotguns, lots of different weapon types are going to be in. Unfortunately, Xbox has nothing to do with me. That's something that's all sort of really just been dealt with by Microsoft directly. Yes, John Carpenter, The Thing, is pretty much an inspiration for Phoenix Point, for the design, for the story writing. Not only John Carpenter, but also H.P. Lovecraft is a big inspiration for this game as well. So sort of quite a lot of body horror in there. Will you be able to drive scenery cars like the one the crabs are in? No, these vehicles are just designed to be sort of static objects. They're, you know, probably non-functional, but that's not to say that there might not be other vehicles on the maps that you will be able to drive around in, but all of these ones that you see currently, apart from the Armadillo, are just static set pieces. Regarding weapons, will we also get battle rifles? I'm not sure if that's a particular type that we've decided to put in at this point, but there is a big long list somewhere in a design document of all of the different weapon types that we plan to implement. Will the flamer work like a main weapon instead of a one-use glorified grenade like in XCOM 2? That's a good question. As far as I'm aware, it'll work like a proper weapon. No space to shoot. That's because we're right up against the wall here. That's unfortunate. Just don't have a really good line of sight on anything. Okay, let's just take a risk and step out. We're going to get one shot at you. You're hidden right behind that. That's no good for us at all there, really, is it? Let's just get you back into cover. That was a silly idea. Shouldn't have tried to do that. And we've got our heavy. I guess we can start moving these guys forward now. It'll be a lot easier once I get into the Armadillo, but let's just go ahead and just sort of push on. I'm running a little bit short of time because it's currently sort of 25 past 12 in the morning where I am, so... Yes, I thought you might come a little bit closer. Ouch. Well, at least we get return fire. Decent damage. Yeah, we should be able to finish him off on the next turn. You're behind us, which is also annoying. No, leave my technician alone. That was a very optimistic return fire. So at the moment, return fire actually can be a little bit useless in some occasions when you fire from a long distance because you don't really have a chance of hitting. We will be putting in a system where you can... We will be putting in a system where return fire only works on shots that have a certain % chance of hitting, or at least are so close. We want to try and disable the system from taking return fire shots when they're clearly not going to hit, because it just becomes a waste of ammo. So it is a concern that we have heard, and we agree. You know, it is a little bit when you have a limited amount of ammo, having that ammo wasted on a shot that's so far away is something that we want to avoid happening. Let's just heal up with the technician, because he's taking far too much damage. And I'm going to go over here with this assault. And I'm going to shoot this guy in whatever he uses as a face. Actually, just go for the arm. There we go, he's down. And do I want to do anything else with you? Probably not. We can actually start getting closer to the Armadillo now. We just go around and ram everything. Now that you can see that guy over there, you're still too far away to do anything. Yeah. So when you see these aiming circles, all of my shots will land within the red circle. But there's only a 50% chance that my shots will land within the yellow circle. So if you can imagine, even if they do land within the yellow circle, there's only a very tiny amount of the target there. So, yeah, the chances of us actually scoring any amount of hits there is kind of pointless. So, let's just leave him there for now. You can't quite get in there on this turn. Now, he's more accurate than me. My assault returns fire. He's slightly more accurate than the machine gun. No, this was created by Julian Gollop. Julian was the guy who created the original XCOM in 1994. So he made XCOM UFO. He also made, well, technically Terror from the Deep. Terror from the Deep was a Microprose reskin of the XCOM UFO, but it was the same original base game. Julian also made XCOM Apocalypse. And then later went on to make some other strategy games like... Ghost Recon Shadow Wars on the DS. He was also creative director on Assassin's Creed Liberation on the PS Vita as well. But didn't have anything to do with the recent XCOMs, which were made by Jake Solomon and Firaxis. Right, let's get you in the back there. Get in, dude. Enter vehicle. A lot of people like Terror from the Deep. Terror from the Deep was brutal. But the fun fact about Terror from the Deep is that after Mythos Games made XCOM UFO, the first game, Microprose wanted another game quickly. And Julian and his team were unable to get XCOM Apocalypse done in the time frame that Microprose wanted. So Microprose basically hired a team to take XCOM UFO and basically change the graphics around a little bit, change the story around a little bit, change the music a little bit, and that was Terror from the Deep. Terror from the Deep is basically reskinned XCOM UFO. And then slightly after that, XCOM Apocalypse was released. Right, let's see if any of these aliens will just come towards me and I can just mow them down with the machine gun. He's still going for my heavy. I might have to move over there. Your soldiers won't actually mutate during the mission, but they can get infected during a mission, and they can mutate over a course of time. So you will have a certain amount of time to treat them or to deal with them. But they're not going to be like chrysalids, where they get infected and just turn into a zombie and turn around and attack you. The virus takes more time to work than that. Okay, 6 damage. That was decent. And he just put all his shots into that pillar, so I am absolutely fine with that. Can we get a little bit closer with the heavy? I've moved out of cover, but the heavy's got good armor, so he's not usually worried too much about taking shots. Just wanted to see, we actually took some damage to our armor. Now, the reason it's still showing we've got 4 armor is because it didn't take... that's actually our average armor. We are going to, at some point, implement a little window that shows you your individual armor, because each individual body part, your arms, your legs, your torso, your head, they all have their own individual armor rating. So that shot removed 1 armor from somewhere, but I can't quite tell where that is. That's exactly what I mean by dealing with them. So this particular mission, like I said, New Jericho is a non-player faction, so you won't get to play New Jericho in the actual game. And this particular scenario takes place several years, I think it's 3 years before the game Phoenix Point. And these 4 soldiers, if you read the briefing number... I want to say number 3. The briefing number 3, I believe, is the one that's about New Jericho. And these 4 different soldiers that we have here, you've got Irina Petieva, Daniel Stoller, who is our dead sniper, Isaiah Thompson, and JP Richter. There's an individual story for all 4 of these guys about who they are, and essentially they've all been infected, and this is a suicide mission that their commander has sent them on, because once you're infected, you're dead to New Jericho. They don't want you around. You are basically, that's it. That's the end of you. And these guys were like, well, look, you can be executed, or you can go on a suicide mission. And this is the suicide mission. And if you successfully complete this scenario, the outcome is basically, well done, but we never want to see you again. So, yeah, they have different ways of dealing with people. Whereas the Disciples of Anu embrace people who have been infected. So, like I said, different ideologies for the different factions here. Right, you can't do anything more right now. You are out of ammo. You need to reload. You have those targets over there, which are probably a little bit far away. Although I would prefer you to be more over this side of the map, so let's get working on that. Horribly murdered the first time I played the backer build. I think my win-loss average is slightly positive. It very much depends on the build version. I've played like 5 or 6 different builds in the last 24 hours, because obviously we keep sort of putting a build together, play testing it, finding a bug, changing it, putting it back together and play testing it again, and depending on which one it is, some of them just whip me horribly, and other ones I've had quite a bit of luck with. Now, I personally think, even though we've made the Queen more difficult because she has more armour, that the current build, this backer build 2, is a little bit easier than the previous one. Mostly because of the Technician. The Technician has got a lot of mobility, can fire 4 shots in the same turn, can self-heal, can repair limbs. I mean, that's a game changer there, because before this backer build, you weren't able to repair limbs. So if somebody got their arm disabled and couldn't use their main weapon, that was it. They were kind of useless unless they had a grenade they could throw or a pistol. But now you actually have a way of being able to repair that limb. And the fact that you've also got the Armadillo, which is very agile, very high damage, very heavily armoured. This thing is a game changer. But of course, we're not too concerned about balance at the moment. This is a pre-alpha backer build that's designed for people to have a look and see what the game's all about, see where the direction of development is going. Balance isn't something you worry about until the end of the game. or the end of the development process. If we try and balance anything now and then add one new class or add one new vehicle or one new weapon, one new enemy type, throws the whole balance out. So there's really no point trying to balance anything yet. Obviously we've tried to make it relatively fair and we've tried to make it fun. We don't want people getting frustrated because it's completely impossible. But we do appreciate that it was certainly tricky. I want to hit that guy. I don't want the guy up the tower. I want to hit this guy. Now, he's behind a lot of cover. I'm hoping I can take that out. And I actually did. I gave him a bleed. Disabled his leg. Yes, the technician has turrets. I was like completely forgot about that there. Actually, let's get... where's my assault? Let's get the technician... let's get our technician out of the Armadillo. Exit vehicle. Out you get. There he is. So let's move you over here and then let's get our assault in. Because I just think the technician's got a little bit more utility. So there we go. So now we can put our turret down if we want to. Let's go ahead and move forwards with you. And I'm going to step out here with you and I'm just going to drop your turret there because I can. And just sort of move you back a little bit. Ooh. Hello, Queenie. Wasn't expecting her to pop up right then. Now she has appeared at the entranceway. Ow, actually took damage on my heavy. Queenie's coming straight in. Okay, let's get this done. So, we want to switch to our rocket launcher. We want to rocket the Queen right in the face. Okay, now we only did 2 damage, but we took 5 armor off. Taking off 5 armor is good. I'm going to keep my technician at the back out of the way, and we're going to take 2 shots with our Armadillo, if we can do anything. In which state is the game currently? The game is currently in pre-alpha, so there's an awful lot that we still have to do at the moment. Tactical strategy is definitely making a comeback. Yes, certainly, and one of the big reasons for that is the Firaxis XCOM games. As much as people dislike the Firaxis XCOM games, they've done an excellent job of making tactical strategy you know, sort of a mainstream genre again. Let's go ahead and try and put some bullets in here. Yeah, you see, she still has too much armor, so we basically do no damage. Let's back up. Let's not give her a chance to do too much damage to us. We could ram her, but let's wait on that a little bit. So what have we got going on here? I think we just spotted something there. Let's just end our actions. I'm just going to keep the technician back a little bit. We can use a grenade if we need to. But let's end the turn. Who's she going to go for? She might just go for a heavy, actually. I've got a feeling that's where she's heading. Some people do like Firaxis some people do dislike Firaxis XCOM. I think a lot of it comes down to those people who played the original XCOM don't like Firaxis XCOM because it's so different. I personally like both games. I think that the Firaxis XCOMs definitely do have some issues, but so did the originals. And well done, turret, got a kill. I think if the original XCOM didn't exist and no one had it to compare the Firaxis games to, everyone would love the Firaxis games. There were just some people that like to compare the two, and some people just don't like change. But this is why we're making Phoenix Point. Phoenix Point is it's a sort of a mix between the two. It's a bit of a hybrid. Hopefully, we sort of encapsulate some of the best bits from both of them. That's what we're trying to do here. Okay, another shot with the rocket launcher. 1 more armor gun, 3 more damage. We are going to back up with our heavy. Now, you're still too far away to effectively use a grenade or anything else, so I'm just going to keep you back. As for the vehicle, well, we've got infinite ammo, so there's no reason why we shouldn't take a shot. We have started to get rid of some of the armor. If we can just get in there. There we go. 3 more armor gone. Also taking shots from his own guy. He's hiding behind him there. Let's do that again. Let's take another shot. Try and get in there for the torso. So even if we miss the torso, we might hit a leg, or we might hit the head. We might hit the pincer. Another couple of armor gone. Another 3 more damage. That'll do. We've still got the option to ram. So let's just go and end the turn. You die from bleed damage. Thank you very much. So you lose a willpower because one of your comrades has just died. Yeah, that's fine. We know about you. You just died on us. Now, you've already taken some hits. Did you just shoot the queen? Yes, you did. And I think our turret just hit the queen as well. Yeah, it bounced off armor, so the queen didn't actually take any damage. Oh, good work, turret. The turret did 4 damage, gave it a bleed, disabled its head. And his return fire hit the queen. Excellent. So we've got our heavy. Our heavy actually has a spare rocket in his inventory because we found one, so we can reload the rocket or the missile. Did we actually spell it right? No, we haven't. We still haven't updated that spelling error. It still says missile with the I missing. Oh, it says launch missile there, but it still says missile there. Alright, that's one for the bug report. Right, good bit of damage there. We've also done some good damage to the bridge there. Look at that. Okay, that's a lot more armor gone. Let's go ahead and switch over to our grenade here, because we should have a good enough arm to get that over to her as well. Right, you do have a bleed, so you're done for in 3 turns anyway. I'm not even bothered about that guy. We could take a shot at him with the PDW. It's a long way off. Let's risk it. Actually, did 2 damage. Oh no, he's destroyed my mech arms. So, this is a very important thing to know about the technician. He's not invincible, or in this case she, because it's Petieva, is not invincible. That's it. My mech arms are gone. I no longer have the ability to heal or repair. So that's not good. So we better get this done quickly then. Let's go and find something that doesn't have a lot of armor. Let's go for the torso here. Oh, that was unlucky for us. We didn't do nearly enough damage. And by nearly enough, we hardly did any at all. Let's try this again. Okay, we're just bouncing off armor right now. This is getting tricky. Okay, well, you're down. Bear in mind that when it comes to things like sound design, it's all still a work in progress. We're a year out from completion of the game at least. And, you know, sound is something that's normally done right at the end. Also bear in mind that these aren't conventional ballistic weapons. We're actually using Gauss weapons here. So they're not going to sound the same as you would expect from a normal gun. How many troops can fit in the tank? 4. 1 person driving and 3 passengers. So you need at least 1 person in it to be able to use it. The Queen in the demo builds is missing abilities, right? Yes. If you actually look at the original prototype that we showed in our FIG campaign over a year ago, I mean, the game has been completely redesigned since then, but if you look at the original prototype, the Queen had a couple of extra abilities, so she could, in this build, she just attacks with her pincers. In the prototype, she could actually sort of stand above you and just sort of drop down and sort of smash what was beneath her. She also had the ability to produce these little lava type creatures that would attack you as well, and these are all things that we will, you know, add in future backer builds. And again, different mutations will give the Queen different abilities. There's she has a ranged some ranged mutations as well, so she's able to actually do ranged damage instead of melee damage. So there's going to be all types of different options for the bosses as well as the individual smaller enemies. Technician has another grenade. Quite possibly. I did pick one up, didn't I? Actually, the Technician not only has another grenade, but the Technician also has another turret. And as turrets are free to... Well, let's go ahead and use the grenade. Because why not? Should have used that first, really, if I'd have been reading the chat, because we could have taken more armor. So there's some more armor gone. Let's move you across a little bit, and then let's go ahead and drop that other turret that we found. Forgot about that. Can you upgrade your vehicle? Yes, you will be able to put different types of weapons on it, different types of armor. You will notice that the vehicle is actually... well, it's normally... You can only see it when it's taking damage. The vehicle is modular. It does have different parts that will be able to be swapped out and customized, much like on the soldiers. Good night, DK. Thanks a lot for dropping by. There was a picture of the Queen with a huge cannon-like gun. You are correct. Right, where are we? What have we got here? We are going to take our shots now and... See, there's only 3 armor on this bit. This is where we're more likely to do the damage, so... There we go. We finally got through some more armor. And it says it's now out of ammo. That's interesting. Last time I checked, that had infinite ammo. Well, we can do something about that. We can fire with the PDW, but it's probably a little bit of a waste of time. Something weird going on here. Right, let's go and just ram the Queen. How much damage would we do? 16 damage, and we've disabled a pincer. Well, we need to start trying to do something here. She's got too much armor, though. There's a chance we might do some damage. No, I think at this stage we now have to rely on the heavy with his machine gun. The good thing with the Queen is she's such a large target, it's pretty hard to miss. So let's just go into the leg. There's probably not a lot of point you trying to do anything right now. Looks like we might have got into a bit of a glitch here because the AI seems to be a little bit stuck. Well, pre-alpha, ladies and gentlemen. It happens sometimes. Another 16 damage. Yeah, I think we're probably... I'm going to just cheese my way through this particular mission here, which is unfortunate. There we go. The Queen is down. We've actually sped the death animations up a little bit on the Queen, because before she was taking a little bit too long to drop, and given the fact that she's quite a large creature, you would expect her to be affected by gravity a fair bit more than she appeared to be, so that's the main reason why we've sped that up. Let's try and go forwards a little bit with our technician. It's not like he can do an awful lot else. We'll just sort of try and finish off that one remaining alien that's hiding at the back. We also... I did manage to reload with you. Let's just go and run forward. The Heavy's quite well protected because he does have 4 base armor, so generally the aliens don't do a lot of damage to him. Now you do have your shield up, which is a little bit annoying, but I'm going to run in and get a little bit closer. There's no point getting into melee range. We don't have our melee attack anymore, but we'll do that. We still have the tank, of course. Now hang on. The tank is out of ammo. But what we can do is I can drive right over here. And we'll leave it there because on the next turn we can just get our assault to come out of the back and use him. So you're firing at my heavy. You've actually destroyed my machine gun. That is very unfortunate. Because now I'm very limited in my ways of being able to deal with you. How do we want to do this? We want to select our assault. We want to get you out of the vehicle. And we want to just straight up shoot this guy. Let's disable his weapon. That was weird. We only did 2 damage. And we didn't actually disable his weapon. Maybe my aim was a little bit off there. Okay, well, sacrificial technician with our PDW right to the face. There's a glitch on the firing animation there. Left hand disabled. Okay, now we can't shoot with our technician. Great. This is going to be a war of attrition. Can't take another shot with you. Can't do anything with you. Our heavy is completely subdued here. Torso disabled. 7 damage. 1 bleed. Return fire gets the kill. And ends the scenario. Fantastic.
You did it. I'm proud of you. For remaining loyal to the principles of New Jericho and helping us secure Project Hecate.
And as I mentioned earlier, how New Jericho treats the infected, but you know what our protocols demand regarding infected individuals. Make sure I don't see you again, and good luck. So it's like, we don't ever want to see you again. If we do, you'll probably be shot. So this is backer build 2 of Phoenix Point. Obviously there are still a few little bugs and things. It's pre-alpha. We expect them to be. If you do get to play this and you do encounter any bugs, please hit F12 and it will give you the opportunity to submit a bug report. It takes a screenshot. It will send some of your system information along with it. It's nothing that can be used to personally identify you. It's just basically some hardware configuration data and things like what the game was doing at the time when it crashed, along with a screenshot. You can also draw on the screenshot as well so that you can highlight where things are playing up. Obviously, we know that there are going to be a lot of little minor bugs that don't really affect gameplay. Because we are in such an early stage of development, most of the bug reports aren't that important. The ones that are important to us right now is anything that is potentially game-breaking. We only have a 2-month development cycle between the different builds, and out of those 2 months, a couple of those weeks are spent testing, and that's not a lot of time to shake down all of the issues. We were still putting this together and pulling bugs out of it right up until a few hours ago. And even though we do as much testing as we can, we have a very limited amount of time compared to the hundreds of collective hours that you guys put in playing the backer builds. Also, we can only test the build on a limited number of system configurations, which is nothing compared to the almost infinitesimal number of different hardware and system configurations there are out there. So if you do find any bugs, particularly anything game breaking, let us know straight away. Use the in-game bug report tool. If it's anything you can't report in-game, send an email to support@snapshotgames.com and we will try and get it sorted out as soon as possible. There'll probably be another patch for backer build 2, probably in a couple of weeks, to sort out any major issues. And then we are on that road to backer build 3, where we'll be adding even more content. Let's have one quick look at the chat before I log off. Yeah, for a pre-alpha it runs pretty good and no crashes or freezes. It does pretty well. I know some people have been running it on lower end systems. It does have a few little bits of FPS drops here and there. We are doing our very best to optimize it as we go along. Even the download is a couple of sort of about a gigabyte or so smaller than the original one was, so we're always finding ways to sort of make it run better, optimize the code, optimize the assets. We still want it to run well even in the pre-alpha state, but generally, yeah, it's very stable. You do run into a few weird bugs, but yeah, overall it does run quite well. Where can you get the backer build? Backer build is available for any of our FIG backers who backed at the Digital Deluxe version or above, or any pre-order customers who pre-order the Luxury Digital Edition and above. You get instant access to the backer build. Backer build 2, the version I'm playing now, is not out yet. It is going out on, well, technically for me it's today because I'm in the UK and it's already July the 3rd because it's 1 o'clock in the morning here. But it will be going out at midnight on midnight PST. So that is another, 7 hours from now. So in another 7 hours, this will be going live. If you are a pre-order customer with the Luxury Digital Edition or above, or you are a FIG backer with the Digital Deluxe Edition, you will be getting an email from Exola with your link to download it. And there is a version for PC, Windows, there's a version for Linux, and there's a version for Mac OS. So you have the ability to play on all 3 systems without emulation. So I think that is it. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this little insight into BarraCuda 2, and I shall be bringing you more Phoenix Point in the future.